everybody. Hope you guys had a great day. I did. It was a pretty low-key day, which was fine by me. Sometimes it's good to take a bit of a brain break. Let the juices inside and the neurons, have a little bit of a rest. But I'll talk a little bit more about that brain stuff later. But first, yesterday I gave a little guessing game. I said some clues in French, and I can't find my paper, but I remember the clues and I can say them in English. So the first clue was, you can see the whole Earth from here. The second clue was, only 12 people have visited this place. Okay. The third clue is, that's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Do you know what I'm referring to? Yes, it is indeed the moon landing, which anniversary was on July 20th. This happened in 1969. So, there you go. That's the answer to my little bit of guessing game trivia. The moon landing, July 20th, 1969. The brain kind of helps you do lots of things. Helps you do everything. And I don't profess to be any sort of expert, but I read a book once called The Talent Code. It's a pretty decent book, but it talked about child geniuses and what makes them, be able to do what they do so well. For example, why is there, you see the videos of, a little 3-year-old boy or girl, and they're able to play one of the most hardest pieces by Beethoven or whatever, right? They're just all over the place. Those are child prodigies. Yes. And apparently it has something to do with myelin in the brain. And the more myelin you have that connects pathways, the easier it is for those signals to fire back and forth. And the easier it is for signals, say piano playing or French speaking or whatever, to go back and forth, the easier it will be just in general, and the better you will become at it. And the amount of myelin you have in your brain can grow, and it can shrink depending on the sort of activities you do. Which is why I said it's good to stretch yourself. In the book they talked about a fine line between too easy and too difficult. And that I feel is where my French class is. It's not so easy that I'm this is boring, but it's not so hard as to kind of lead me into despair, be oh, I don't know anything. There are definitely times where I'm just I'm so confused and so completely lost. But there are other times where I'm yeah, I totally understand what the teacher is saying, or what, guest speakers come in, or we go to little workshops, and I'm I kind of can get the gist, right? So, I feel I'm getting some good myelin. I'm reconnecting those French pathways that I was born with and no longer used, and now I have to reconnect, which is why it's so easy for, say, my daughter to be bilingual, and she's going into grade 3, right? And my son is going into grade 1, and he can speak better French than I can, because those neural pathways, language pathways, haven't degraded yet. So, my challenge to you, wherever the camera is on this thing, you out there, all 2 of you who watch this video, is to do something that challenges your brain. Whether it's learn a new language, or take up a new skill, or whatever, right? If it challenges your brain, if you can walk that line, that very razor edge between too difficult and too easy, you will actually be better in the long run. And I just heard a study that said people who are predisposed to conditions like Alzheimer's, the more they do the more brain work they do, even if they're predisposed to it, it can actually delay that effect, that early onset. So, it's never too old to start something new. I'm 36. I've never taken French before. Now I am learning French. And I'm not the oldest person in my class either. There are 3 other students who are older than myself. There's a lady who is in her late 50s, and she's learning French for the first time, which I think is awesome, because if I'm finding it difficult because, learning new skills as you get older is difficult, I can't imagine what she's doing, and she's doing awesome. So, kudos to older people than me who learn new skills. In a completely unrelated note, Bears vs. Babies came today in the mail, and Kathy and I played for the first time, and I killed her at Bears vs. Babies. If you don't know what Bears vs. Babies is, Google it. I got it off a Kickstarter. You can't buy it anymore. The box is fuzzy. You know, fuzzy boxes are awesome. So, anyways, that's all I got to say for tonight. Oh yeah, I guess I can tell you what I did. We did a little scavenger hunt today, which was fun all throughout the school. So we had like directions that we had to go find things, classrooms and stuff around St. Boniface University. So it was a good tour, and that was one of those things where like, yeah, I know these words. Like I could probably do this on my own without writing any like, you know, keywords. And myself and the two other people I was with, we managed to complete it. So, yeah. Today was a successful day. I felt successful today. So, anyways, that's all for now. Hope you guys have a great night. It's late. I'm going to go to bed now. So, bon nuit. See you tomorrow.